Hello everyone, I am Tessellating Hexagons, and last night, as you may or may not know, was Super Saturday 2016. And you also may or may not know, I watched about 2.5 national finals, one of which being Uden Musiikin Kilpailu from Finland because, well, I hadn't heard any of their songs, and I liked the Finnish language, although I can't speak it all that well. The most I can say is Ilmatunya on Tauna and Kariaita, which any Finnish-speaking person will tell you is something that you're not really ever going to need to be able to say. But yes, last night it was the turn of Finland to pick their song for Eurovision, with one of the most violent opening acts to a national final I've ever seen. For those that weren't watching OMCore this year, they had Lordi open the show with Hard Rock Hallelujah, but then they stopped halfway through just to disembowel the hosts, one of which was Krista Secrets. I can only assume that that's Finland's way of saying, vote for us or this is what we'll do to you. So, clearly they're taking last year's result well. All joking aside, at the end of the night there could be only one winner, and while there were a few worthy candidates, one of whom I could have sworn was singing I Ain't Got Time for Pepsi Boys, the arbitrary selection of Finnish juries, which featured asphalt construction workers as one category, okay, and the public went with Sandhja Kuivalainen and Sing It Away, which is in English. Surprise, surprise, with an English title I never would have guessed. But yeah, so I don't need to translate any of that for you. Now, it's worth noting, I suppose, that Sandhja actually only came third with the public vote, but she had such a commanding lead that the eventual runner-up, who came first with the public, didn't come first enough with the public to overtake her. But that's fine, the general public seemed to be happy enough with this song. I will admit, though, it didn't leave the best possible first impression on me. When I first heard it during OMCore, I just wrote it off. I thought, oh good grief, what is it with this year's trend for brassy disco songs? Although I concede that if Spain and Belgium hadn't picked similar songs already, I wouldn't have thought that. And having listened to all three of those songs objectively, this is definitely the best of the three, in my opinion. I have been told, though, that I seem to be the only one who can even hear stylistic similarities between this one and Belgium. Please don't tell me it's going to be like last year, where I was the only one who could hear the glaringly obvious stylistic similarities between Austria's song and Empire's State of Mind. So what are the good points of this song, then? Well, fortunately, despite that unlucky first impression, the song does have a lot of good going for it, starting with the singer herself. When I first saw her, my initial reaction was, oh, she looks like a YouTuber. I don't know whether that's true or not. I don't know whether that's a good thing or not. I'm hoping it's a good thing. Hello. She does have a lot of personality and charm, which translates very well on stage. She's a personable person, and that's very good when trying to communicate a song to an audience. Especially a song like this, where it's a very personal, look, let's be happy, I'll help you be happy kind of thing. Also, whether it was her decision or not, the cinematography of her live performance, that is, the camera work and whatnot, made it stand out head and shoulders above its competitors. And hey, clever camera work brought the Netherlands to near victory in 2014, so she must be onto something good with this. Or shall I take a different approach and say, oh no, she's totally ripping off the Netherlands, just totally ripping off the common linnets by having clever camera work, because that's the same logic that allows you to compare Greta Salome's song with Euphoria and Heroes. Also, it's a happy, feel-good song that, as I said, isn't just be happy because I said so, which apparently is something my grandfather actually would say to my father when he was a child, incidentally. But it runs a little deeper than just that. It's, as I said, let's be happy, and if you're having trouble being happy, let me help you be happy. And in a kind of meta way, that's what the song is there to do. It's a good time, it's a feel-good song, and it's there to help you have a good time and feel good. It does have bad points, though, as all songs do. First of all, for all of Sandhja's personality and charm, I can totally imagine people describing her voice, especially at the sing it away line. I can imagine people describing it as a little bit whiny. I don't agree, personally, but I can see how someone could say that. Also, purely by virtue of the structure of this kind of song, there isn't a single standout moment beyond the repetition of the line sing it away. There are some very impressive moments in the song, there are some very good parts, but there aren't any that stand out above the rest of the song. So, to that end, you only have a small amount that properly sticks in your mind and identifies the song in your head, which would render it open to being accused of being repetitive or bland. Again, I don't agree with that, but that is how someone could look at it, and these reviews are considering how people might see the song, not necessarily just how I see it. Finally, impressive though the camera work for her OMCore performance was, it did look a lot of the time like she was performing inside a postbox. I know a lot of films and music videos do that, but honestly, just because the professionals do it doesn't mean it's any less annoying than when people film with their phones long ways rather than sideways. It's 2016, surely everyone's familiar with that dilemma. Now, the obligatory rating out of 10. I am having a bit of a tough time picking a score for this one. Ultimately, I keep coming back to 8 out of 10, because 9 feels too generous compared to my opinions about the song, but 7 feels too harsh. I feel like I would like it more if I didn't have Spain and Belgium to compare it to, but even then, this is a song that I can only get second-hand excited about, if you know what I mean. It's fun, it's enjoyable, certainly, and I don't mind listening to it. If it was to play on the radio, I'd listen to it, but I wouldn't go out of my way to look it up and listen to it. So it's not my kind of thing, but if someone else can really get into it and enjoy it, I'm happy with that. I'm glad to be happy on their behalf. I can get second-hand excited for them. It's just not really my sort of flavour personally, but that's 100% okay. Now, how does it compare to last year? Well, I suppose I'm going to have to word this carefully, aren't I? Because for reasons I explained last year, Aina Mun Peta is a song that some parts of the fandom have decided that you're not allowed to dislike. Because if you do, you're either discriminating against people with learning difficulties, or you just don't get punk. Even though Pertti Kurikanemi Paivat themselves pretty much said they never wanted preferential treatment because that would actually be more offensive, and so on the grounds of complete fairness, of the two, I favour Sing It Away, because generally, it's more chartable, it's more widely accessible to anyone. It's not a case of if you don't get the genre of music, you won't like it. It's just generally more the sort of music that I enjoy of the two. I feel like I shouldn't have to stress this, but this isn't me discriminating. I just like this song more. The main criticism I had of PKN's song anyway was the length more than anything else, which meant it sounded more like a demo rather than a full song, and so I found it hard to get into. That was my main problem with it. And so I do still applaud their efforts, and I'm happy for them to have made it to Eurovision in the first place, but Sandhja is my candidate of choice here. Now, will it qualify? Well, immediately it's got a relative advantage simply by not being in the same semi-final as Belgium, so the two songs can't be compared, and it can't be compared against any of the songs that it's competing against in its own semi-final, so it's already going to stand out a bit. And on top of that, if Sandhja brings even half the energy and envie de vivre to her stage performance in Stockholm, then she'll have the whole audience infected with her general happiness. And so I'm putting her on the almost definitely will qualify list. I hesitate only because I have no idea how the juries will rate this one, but since it scored better with the juries than the public during UMK, I'd say it's probably going to reach the top 5 of its semi-final. Beyond that, though, I have no idea how this is going to do. I can almost guarantee that it will outrank Spain and Belgium if the opportunity to do so arises, but other than that, I don't know. The most specific I can say is top 20 in the final. In any case, though, I will say, good luck to you, Finland, because I was prepared to not like this song because I'm getting sick of this genre, but it does the genre justice. It's actually really good. Good on you. And also, as always, see you in Stockholm.